In this video, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Instead of trying to teach you a task or show you recommendations of gear, I'm going to do something more from the administrative side. And that is, who should be or could be a militia engineer? Now, first and foremost, everyone in the militia is a rifleman, so don't worry about that. If something happens, you'll get your chance to start firing off rounds at the enemy at the time. But engineers are an extremely important job in any military, and they will be in the militia also should something occur. So, militia units will need engineer recruits. But who should they look for? What should they look for in applicants to be militia engineers? Engineers have 4 primary duties. That is mobility, counter-mobility, survivability, and general engineering. Mobility. It can be clearing landmines from a road so that vehicles can pass, or it can be breaching wire so that you can attack an enemy outpost. Counter-mobility. It can be putting in an obstacle across a road to stop an enemy convoy so you can ambush it. Or it can be putting in booby traps on an enemy patrol's line of advance. Survivability can be building fighting positions on an area that you are going to be staying at for a prolonged period of time, or it could be building tunnel systems so that you can survive through the winter, or if the enemy is doing particularly thorough sweeps in the area and you need to go to ground. General engineering, well, that covers your vertical and horizontal tasks. Vertical, putting together buildings, like building a field hospital or an encampment deep in the woods or in the mountains. Horizontal, repairing roadways to allow passage of refugees or militia convoys through an area after a battle. Now, the original engineers in the military were drawn from sappers, miners, and pontooniers. Sappers was the term used for military engineers. They dug trenches to get close to enemy fortifications. They also built fortifications. Miners were just that, the people that work in the coal mines or the iron mines. Pontooniers were people that build bridges or were operating ferry boats to transport people and horses and carts across rivers. So with that in mind, who should be candidates for militia engineer units? Obviously, first and foremost would be someone who has served in the military as an engineer. They could be a CB, a combat bridge crewman, a combat engineer, a vertical engineer, a horizontal engineer, topographical engineer, a surveyor, or even explosive ordnance disposal. They should always be at the top of your list, because they are already trained in the tasks of military engineering. Your next tier would be civilian occupations involved with construction. Carpenters, electricians, plumbers, masons, bricklayers, heavy equipment operators, along with architects, roofers, miners, blasters. For those of you that do not know who a blaster is a person who works at a quarry or on a road crew using explosives to remove rock or break up rock so that you can continue with the project. Someone that could also be very useful as a militia engineer is a jack of all trades. Someone who does a little bit of everything. Your handyman that works around your housing complex. But barring that, a person that should be an engineer is someone who's willing to work hard and is willing to be dedicated to keep working till the job is done. An engineer's job is never really done. We always continue to improve what we've already done if there are no more tasks to move to at the time. Being an engineer means long hours. It means hard labor. You could be clearing enemy mines that have been laid. You could be building bridges. You can be repairing roadways. You can be building fortifications. Or you can be repairing homes so that civilians can move back in after a battle is done. Being an engineer is the most important job you can have. I will try to give you more videos on engineering tasks and skills that you should learn if you do decide to form an engineer element in your unit. Now, to all my engineer brothers in the Patriot and Militia movement, always remember, essay ons.